Forgot to pull myself up. Hello, my name is Urzu Cyclin, and welcome to my channel today. Apparently, the senile old man has decided he's going to make an announcement. What is the announcement? I have no clue. Apparently, it's just titled, Live, Trump Makes an Announcement. And apparently, we gotta watch. Let's see, share screen. Pop over here. I have no clue what this senile old man's talking about today, but we'll have some fun watching it, hopefully. Speaking of senile old man, I have another video today that I should be releasing later regarding a senile old man. Not exactly sure where I am. I think I'm just before they show up. Oh. A little late. Set up the stream.
Back here.
And for Nakoti, sorry I haven't had time to jump over and post it into StreamYards. Or into Discord. I guess I can do that right about now. Or Nightwolf, I mean.
Thank you very much. You all set?
Where are we?
Well, we're talking about cafe standards, a very big deal, very important today. My administration is
Oh,
taking
cars.
historic action to lower costs for American consumers, protect American auto jobs, and make buying a car much more affordable for countless American families and also safer. We're officially terminating Joe Biden's ridiculously burdensome, horrible, actually, cafe standards that imposed expensive restrictions and all sorts of problems, gave all sorts of problems to automakers. And we're not only talking about here, we're talking about outside of our country, because nobody could do it. Nobody wanted to do it, and it was ridiculous, very expensive. It put tremendous upward pressure on car prices, combined with the insane electric vehicle mandate. Biden's burdensome regulations helped cause the price of cars to soar more than 25%. And in one case, they went up 18% in 1 year. Today, we're taking one more step to kill the Green New scam. It's part of the greatest scam, probably, well, other than Russia, and a few others I could name. The greatest scam in American history, the Green New scam. And it's a quest to end the gasoline-powered car. This is what they wanted to do, even though we have more gasoline than any other country by far. And people want the gasoline car. They want everything. They want electric. They want to have lots of alternatives, but they do want the gasoline car. Right now, it's leading away by a lot. The car business is a very interesting business, but we want to keep it that way. I want to thank Transportation Secretary Sean Duffy, Deputy Transportation Secretary Stephen Bradbury, as well as CEO of Ford, Jim Farley. Jim, where is Jim? Let's see. Hi, Jim. Congratulations. You're doing a great job. CEO of Stellantis, Antonio Filosa. Thank you very much, Antonio. Chairman of the National Automobile Dealers Association, Tom Castrida.
Yes, sir.
Thank you
Yes, sir.
very
Yes,
much,
sir.
Tom. Great to have you. And Manager of General Motors Orient Plant, John Urbanek.
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir.
Great to have you guys here. And you're going to say a few words in a minute about how ridiculous this was, but we've just freed you up. So you're going to have a good day and have a good number of years. Thanks as well to Senator Shelley Moore Capito, Ted Cruz, Kevin Cramer, Marsha Blackburn, Eric Schmidt, and Bernie Marino, as well as Representative Sam Graves, Vern Buchanan, Mike Kelly, Roger Williams, Lisa McClain, and Troy Balderson. All great people. These are great people. And I know there's a lot of support.
As far as these cafe standards he's talking about, these cafe standards have been in effect. Well, they started around 1973, and they were made official by Congress in 1975. I'm not exactly sure why he's calling them Biden administration cafe standards. Pretty much what Biden did was try to push automakers towards making electric vehicles. It didn't necessarily, as far as I know, it bring up the price of gas vehicles.
long beyond the people that are here. We had tremendous support on this. From day one, I've been taking action to make buying a car more affordable. I signed an executive order to end the unfair.
I mean, let me explain this. GW, George W. Bush, Republican, also pressed for the same standards, the same exact standards. Making cars, more electric cars, and trying to make them 35 miles to the gallon.
Expensive electric vehicle mandate, as you know, we had to have an electric car within a very short period of time, even though there was no way of charging them and lots of other things. It would have cost $5 trillion to build the charging plants. And,
Hello, Nightwolf.
you
Good
know,
to
in
see you.
certain parts
Sorry I
of the
was late
Midwest,
for
they spent-
posting over
to
there
build
in
9
Discord.
chargers, they spent $8 billion.
I wasn't even sure this was
So that wasn't working
happening.
out too well. That was done before me, by the way. I wouldn't have let it go forward. We're canceling the EPA's absurd tailpipe emission standards, one of the most important things that I've never had a group of people come to me more powerfully and really just devastated that they had to do it. It was killing them than the automobile manufacturers, the tailpipe emission standards. And I can tell you, your people at Ford were coming to me all the time and they were saying, like, please, it doesn't do anything and it's killing us.
You know what's killing us? I'll check this out. Now, I remember I was a kid in the 70s. I remember all the nasty, smoky, smoggy cars that were driving down the street. A car would drive by you and about take your breath away. About 1/2 of the vehicles on the road when I was a very young child were gas bombs. The standards you are talking about has made cars cleaner overall.
And it's driving the cost through the roof. And we revoked Biden's emissions waiver for California so that California communists could not regulate the automobile industry and ruin the
Hello,
entire
Lisa
nation
Rowe.
of
Good to see you.
automobiles.
Sirloin.
And they were doing that too.
I guess he's
But we
trying
have
to
that now
cut
under
back
control
on
also
automobile
for the governor.
standard regulations.
Much more than he can control.
One which
Now,
require
under the
doesn't
new rules
require
being
but
issued today by
encourages
Secretary
companies to
Duffy,
make
the
more
Department of
electric
Transportation
vehicles
will
and
rescind the
shut up,
Biden
dude. To make more electric vehicles and try to make cars, all cars on the road at least 35 miles to the gallon. And now he's talking about removing emission standards, which tailpipe standards, which have greatly improved pedestrians' ability to walk down the sidewalk without gagging.
fuel economy prices. And I hate to say that because
I don't
really
think
not
so.
economy. They were really, they were anti-economy. They were horrible what they were doing to the costs and actually making the car much worse. But these policies forced automakers to build cars using expensive technologies that drove up costs, drove up prices, and made the car much worse. The action is expected to save the typical consumer at least $1,000 off the price of a new car. And
I haven't checked, but I believe that Tesla that he bought is still sitting at the White House in the exact same place it was when Elon parked it there.
I think substantially more than that. Under the Trump administration, $70 billion are now being invested in the American auto industry. Ford has announced it will invest $5 billion across its Kentucky and Michigan plants. Is that a correct statement?
That's right.
That's a lot, $5 billion. You could do more. Creating at least 4,000 new jobs. Stellantis announced that it will invest $13 billion to expand its U.S.-based manufacturing by more than 50% and open new manufacturing facilities across the country. And I think a big part of that is also the tariffs. Because of tariffs, they're coming in, not only the automobile industry, AI, we're leading China in AI, we're leading everybody in AI, we're leading everybody in everything. We have the hottest country right now. I will tell you, a lot of political people behind me, great political people, very successful political people. We have the hottest country anywhere in the world. 1 year ago, we had a dead country, and now we have the.
No, we didn't. No, we didn't, sir. 1 year ago, the country was, as it's been before, very prosperous, very prosperous. We are one of the top nations market-wise in the world. We have always been that way. I hope we remain that way after you leave. But you didn't make any great changes that MAGA'd America. No, instead, you basically ran our grocery prices up to the roof. I mean, frickin' chicken is like $4 a pound now, almost $3 a pound now. Your steak and your chicken are almost the same price. This has never happened. It has never happened that hamburger is almost the same price as a porterhouse steak per pound. This is ridiculous. This is crazy. You're not helping at all.
Hottest country anywhere in the world. And it started from November 5th, but it also started when we did the tariffs, and we've had tremendous support on the tariffs. It's bringing in trillions of dollars of wealth. It's bringing in national security. And I've stopped.
Man, have you heard his
wars,
eating
and
habits?
Of the 8 wars, 5 of them have been because of tariffs and trade. So they're very important. And General Motors.
Apparently, he buys a Big Mac, a fish sandwich, and a quarter pounder or whatever, and he stacks them in some sort of like Build-A-Bear type fish burger sandwich.
Plans to invest $4 billion as it brings its manufacturing back to the United States from Mexico. After falling by 5% under Biden, U.S. auto production has surged by 10%.
Yeah, I know. It's weird.
So far this year. You know, I won the auto workers vote, but now even the head of the auto workers said Trump is the greatest president we've ever seen. And happens to be right about that. But we're protecting our auto workers, and we're making it easier for every family to afford high quality cars. In other words, we're bringing automobiles back and the manufacturing of automobiles back into this country. We lost 52% over the years, 52% of our automobile manufacturing. You see it.
Well, he'll be
Closed factories
babbling
all
for a
over the
while,
place.
and
Now
we'll be
they're
over here all
opening
day.
up. They're being, in most cases, they're being knocked down.
Real quick,
and
folks.
new
I know
ones are
I've
being
only been
built in
4
their
minutes
place.
in, but I actually
big
was setting up
beneficiary is the
something
state of
before the
Michigan,
show.
But South Carolina, even states
Just a
that
little
didn't
bit of
really
something
do too much
fun,
with the automobiles
and,
are opening up plants. It's been amazing.
I didn't really
So
get a chance to
between
go out and have a smoke.
automobile plants,
But I'll
AI
be
plants,
watching.
and plants of every other nation, really every other type, including chips. We're going to have a big percentage of the chip market very soon. Not because of the CHIPS Act, which was horrible.
Is that about the
ridiculous,
diaper
where we just gave
stains
these
or about the
companies
weight?
billions and billions of dollars, and they just kept the money. But because of what we did with tariffs, they have to build here, otherwise they're going to have to pay
I'll
tariffs.
check
They
it
won't
later.
be able to do business in the United States. And we're going to have a big percentage of the chip industry. As of about a year ago, 2 years ago, we had none. And now we're going to have a very big percentage when it all finishes out. So I'd like to ask Secretary Duffy to speak, and then Mr. Farley, and then Filosa and Urbanik.
That might be entertaining to
Castrina,
watch, actually.
And also, we're going to ask some of our political leaders to speak, because let me tell you, they went out of their way. This was not easy. And people were brainwashed. This is a green new scam. And people were paying too much for a car that didn't work as well. And now they're going to have a great car that's going to be environmentally friendly, but it's going to cost you a lot less, and it's going to work great. All of the nonsense is being taken out of the cars. So, Secretary Duffy, could you say a few
Thank you,
words?
Mr. President. So yesterday at the cabinet meeting, the president was talking about affordability, and the way that Democrats talk about affordability is a lie. Today is a perfect example of that. So,
You know, today I think I will be going car shopping. Why will I be going car shopping? I think I should find a standard price today of the signing of this bill, so that in a year or two, when the car prices jack up, I will be able to make the argument against his nonsense here.
these cafe standards,
I watched it when G-Dub took cars, they were $50,000 for a car, $80,000 for a truck, $100,000 for a truck. and he went and did his stupid buyout. Oh, the prices are going to come down. Yeah, they did immediately. They immediately came down because the car manufacturers wanted that money. They immediately came down, and then within a year or two, back up to $50,000, $80,000 for a car.
Used what was contrary to the law. The Congress set a rule that says you have to look at combustion engines. Biden and Buttigieg actually did an analysis using
Edge.
I'm sorry. Edge used EVs and hybrids to come up with a 62
that's really,
mile
and
an
he
hour
keeps saying it as a joke. It's not really that funny. What happened was when he read the name Buttigieg, he had to be told. This is what really happened here. Here's why Buttigieg is so funny. This retarded old man had to be told how to pronounce Buttigieg's name. So now every time somebody says the name, he repeats what somebody said to him like a child to explain to him how to say the word Buttigieg. It's the only joke's on you, dude. The only joke's on you.
per gallon standard, which I think the car companies will tell you is completely unattainable. So they spent a lot of money on technology trying to meet the unattainable standard, driving up the cost of a car, number one. And then number two, if they couldn't meet the unattainable standard, they had to trade for carbon, costing billions of dollars, and again, driving up the price of the car. So, Mr. President, what Democrats were doing, we're not making cars more affordable. They're making them less affordable. The consequence of that is going to be that more Americans can afford to buy a new car, which means they're going to be safer on the roads because of all the great new technology we have that save lives. So we'll have less death on American roads. These rules are going to
speaking
allow
of the whole
the automakers to make-
Buttigieg thing and the mockery names that he gives to people, many people, including American citizens, all the American citizens, his mockery level. When he first became president in 2019, man, he had some good stingers. I mean, I'm not kidding. You don't even have to support Trump to say some of the mockery and names that he made were great stingers. Anymore, what the heck is this guy talking about? That he tries to make fun of somebody's name and it doesn't even make sense. It's not even humorous at all. Buttigieg. Like I said, somebody told you how to pronounce it, and somehow you're turning it into a joke.
Vehicles that Americans want to purchase, not vehicles that Joe Biden and Buttigieg.
Oh yeah, the only one that has
to
a
build.
natural skin tone
which is
there,
important.
and I'm sure all of them
But
have
also,
makeup.
this is
Even the
important
chicks
for
have
American
less
jobs.
face
The more cars we
on.
sell, the more jobs we have in this country. And so this is jobs, this is freedom, and this is common sense, Mr. President. So thank you for your leadership. And I appreciate what the Senate did with the big, beautiful bill and what we've done here today. So thank
Thank
you,
you
Mr.
very
President.
much. Big, beautiful bill is, it's something. It's amazing. Wait till the people see the benefits and the lower taxes that they're going to have, lower regulations. So how about Ford?
Mr. President and Secretary, all the important lawmakers here, competitors, today is a victory of common sense and affordability. We're very proud of Ford to be the #1 auto producer in our country. 80% of the vehicles we sell here, we make in our country.
Right.
And we never left, unlike many of our competitors. We're the #1 exporter, and we have the most auto factory workers. And this CAFE standard that is aligned with customer demand is the right move for a lot of reasons. We were #2 last year in EV sales. We were #3 in hybrid, and we're the leading brand for combustion. We believe that people should be able to make a choice, as you said, Mr. President, and we will invest more in affordable vehicles. This allows us to invest in affordable vehicles made in the U.S., which we will
How
take the
long you
lead
think
on,
he can do
and
this
will allow us to
before
make vehicles more
he
affordable.
starts getting
So
sleepy?
thank you for making this step for all of you.
Thank you very much. One of the other things we're doing is
Sleepy
separate from this
Dawn.
meeting, but I think everybody here would agree with it. If you go to Japan, where I just left, and if you go to South Korea and Malaysia and other countries, they have a very small car, sort of like the Beetle used to be with the Volkswagen. They're very small. They're really cute. And I said, how would that do in this country? And everyone seems to think good, but you're not allowed to build them. And I've authorized the secretary to immediately approve the production of those cars. So you'll be able to buy they really are, they're actually, some of them are really beautiful, actually. If you take a look, Honda, some of the Japanese companies do a beautiful job, but we're not allowed to make them in this country. And I think you're going to do very well with those cars. So we're going to approve those cars. Would you like to say something about that?
Well, no, just that he never stops working. So even when he's on Asian time, he's calling me at midnight in the States. But he gave me the directive to clear the regulations on this, to which we have. And so if Toyota or any other company wants to make smaller, more affordable cars, fuel efficient, we have cleared the deck so they can make them in America and sell them in America.
They're really nice and less expensive. And it really gives people a chance to have a car, have a brand new car as opposed to a car that maybe isn't so great. And so you car companies start thinking about that. I think it's going to be a tremendous market. Please, would you like to say something?
Thank you, Mr. President. It's a great day for us at Stellantis today, because it's the day where we see CAFE regulation reconciled with real customers' demand. That's why at Stellantis we decided to invest to Jeep, Ram, Dodge, and Chrysler $13 billion in the next 4 years, increasing production by 50%, delivering to the market 5 new vehicles, and creating 5,000 additional jobs. That's because we believe in what you, Secretary Duffy, and all your team is doing in this country. We believe in growth, and we are ready to invest even more. So thank you very much. Thank you very much also for this great news of the key cars, which we are very interested in. And we are really looking forward to work with Secretary Duffy, your team, in the future for the next steps. Thank you very much.
We'll get ready for those cars because we've
We will.
already cleared the way. You can start right away.
We will.
Okay.
Thank you very much, Mr. President.
Thank you very much. Please.
Mr. President, thank you so much for having me.
Thank you very much.
We support your leadership for this issue that is so important to the auto industry. I'm here representing the hard-working men and women of Orion Assembly in Michigan.
Right.
The facility, our manufacturing facility there, is currently going through a retool so that we can build additional U.S. manufactured pickup trucks and full-size sport utilities for our customers, and we're so excited about that. Thank you for your support. Secretary Duffy, thank you as well.
And this is largely coming in because of the tariff situation. We're taking in trillions of dollars, actually, trillions, and we have so many other advantages. But these great companies are coming back to the United States. They left the United States. If somebody was sitting behind this desk that knew what they were doing, that wouldn't have happened. They would have said, well, you can sell your car here, but we're going to put 100% tariff. And you would have never had the auto industry leave. Again, we lost more than 50% of our auto industry. And now it's all coming back. And I think it's coming back. Ultimately, it's going to be bigger. I believe it's going to be bigger than it was before, actually. But it's
Yeah, that was hilarious. I actually could hear it in Miss Biggie's
Thank you very
voice.
much.
Let's see.
I'm
I
Cam
might,
Schroeder, sir. I'm the
I
chairman
guess
of
Steve
National
had to do that.
Automobile Dealers.
I'm not
We
on
represent
Discord,
18,000
or I am.
dealers in the country, along with 3,000 heavy-duty truck dealers. And what the actions that you've done as the president and your administration is definitely going to save our customers money. And you made your promises that let the consumer buy what they want, sir, and you delivered on that. And the other thing that you delivered was your promise in the big, beautiful bill, the tax deduction on loans that had gone away some years back.
Right.
And now that makes it affordable for our buyers that can save money through that loan of the tax, anywhere from several hundred to several thousand. So again, sir, on behalf of all the dealers and our customers, we appreciate what you and your administration have done, and of course, our legislative support as well, Mr. President.
Thank you. That's very nice. And I'm glad you brought that up. We're allowing people to deduct. So if you go out and buy a car, and this is for middle income, but for lower income, no matter what, they never really had deductions. You know, rich people like deductions, but middle income people were never really afforded deductions, which is very unfair. You borrow money to buy a car, you're allowed to deduct the interest from your income tax. And I think that's going to be one of the most, in terms of your industry, I think it's going to be the biggest thing that we're talking about, maybe even bigger than CAFE standards. People are going to be able to borrow money, deduct it. So it's going to cost them essentially half. And
It'll help. Yes, sir.
I think it's going to be a tremendous factory. They've never had a chance to do that before. And that's all done. That's all in the great, big, beautiful bill. So it's really terrific. I'd like to ask a couple of our political leaders to they just say, well, we're just not going to vote for it. They couldn't talk about it, but they didn't want to vote. I see Mike Kelly, my friend back there, who's been with me from day one, right?
Yep.
What do you have to say, Mike?
Well, you know what? I think you hit the key. Everybody.
Now, as far as wearing the flag like a tie, yeah, I guess if you took a flag and you wore it as a tie, it's kind of against the code, the flag code. You're not supposed to wear a flag as an adornment, but we've kind of it's not a flag, it's a shirt. I guess you could make the argument it's not a flag, it's a shirt. If you're wearing a shirt that looks like an American flag, it looks like an American flag. Or if you're wearing a tie that looks like an American flag, I kind of frown upon it. I also frown upon if you ever see the ribbons that are set out during like 4th of July and at presidential gatherings, those ribbons that are all bounded up American flags. You are never supposed to bind the American flag. The American flag should always fly free. But we've pretty much ignored that for what, almost 100 years now? Because there was 100 years ago during presidential speeches, that bounded flag, that same round bounded flag.
He's talking about the same thing.
You
In America-
like blue the way they like each other. Now, you can see, there's no hatred between these two guys.
Yeah, as long as I beat his price, we're friends. Yeah, but you hit it right on the head. The American people have always been able to choose what they want to buy.
Right.
They don't want to be taken out of a market by people who, quite frankly, don't even drive their own car, and saying, this is the way you've got to go going into the future. And say, well, you may say that, but you're not in the market. You have no idea. And I know the business we're in. At the end of the day, if you were there with me, I'd say, so, Mr. President, other than price, what's keeping you from taking the car home today? It's always price. And the fact that we can build a car that's affordable, that people want to buy, that's the key to it. What you've done is unlock the most ridiculous statute that ever.
I would agree with that. You probably want to wear
It was done by
proper
President
tie.
Obama after the courts failed on it. So thank you for doing what you're doing. You're making America great again in every single way. Thank you.
Yeah, I understood.
You're
Yeah, I
gonna
read
be so big
typo
for the
pretty well, or I can
auto
actually
manufacturers.
put in the
People aren't even
word
gonna believe the
that
impact this
I
has.
don't go into that
You know,
whole
Mike used to
word
come to
thing.
my rallies
You know what
all
I
the
mean?
time. We'd have a
As
rally,
soon
it
as
was
I
like
said where,
0
when you
degrees, it
where
was
you said
freezing. Everyone-
church,
And he'd sit there without a
I
shirt on.
understand typos and speech to
And
text
I
and
didn't
all
need
that.
that, you know. I didn't say it was pretty, but he would sit there in the cold and he didn't mind it at all. I said, that's one tough cookie, right?
You lit it up. We didn't need any heat. You were there.
We had a good time. We had a lot of great rallies,
We
right?
did. We did.
Pennsylvania. Please, Mr. Congressman.
Thank you, Mr. President. I represent the dealer, but I'm a dealer, and we got some other dealers in here, but this is huge for the dealer body, the local car dealer. We're going to be able to sell what the customer wants. The manufacturer's going to make what the customer
Pocket
wants.
more money.
We've got all kinds of options to the big bill. It's gonna
Making
make
the rich
vehicles
man
we talked
rich
about,
is exactly what this
payments
guy
and
is
so forth.
good
As we say in the
for. Of
business,
course
they've
you
never
like.
been cheaper than they are today, Mr. President. And it's going to be a great opportunity for the dealer body to sell what consumers want. And 99% of the businesses in America are small businesses. Many are car dealers, employ a lot of people. It's going to be a great year for us. We appreciate your leadership, and we appreciate, from a retail standpoint, we appreciate the manufacturers going to step up and build cars that the customers want and that
What do
we
you
want to
mean?
sell. So thank you very much. It makes it a great country.
He's also a very brave congressman because he was there on the baseball field that horrible day with Steve Scalise and some other people. He was hit, but he took it very well. He took it very well. You're my pal.
Thank you.
Thanks. Great job.
Appreciate you.
Great job. Appreciate it. Kevin, could you say a few words of wisdom? One of the really smart economic forecasters, I will tell you, beyond an economist. He's a real forecaster. Please.
Sir, I think that there's a massive macroeconomic benefit to what we're doing today. And the way to think about it is that the car that has the best gas mileage that you can buy that has only gasoline is a Honda that gets about 36 miles per gallon. Joe Biden wanted to make every car on average be above 50. So there's no car made in the US that you would be able to sell 2 years from now, 3 years from now under that rule. because what he wanted to do was make
Whoop, whoop, whoop. Lie detector test. Just search up what Biden was looking for in his cafe law. It was only 35 miles per hour, buddy. Or 35 miles to the gallon. That's all it was. I don't know where you pulled this 50 number from. Probably out of Trump's ass.
everybody have an electric car, as you know. But here's the thing, that if everybody had an electric car, then nobody would be buying gasoline anymore, and they'd have to take all the miles that they travel and put it on the grid. And so we would have to increase the production of electricity in the US by 25% over the next couple of years if they had their way. And so you've really stopped a massive disruption for the economy with this. So thank you, sir.
That wasn't the main reason, and yet it certainly is a main reason. You wouldn't have been able to do it even if you wanted it. It's just so crazy. That was the mandate.
It
which we
was
ended.
crazy because that wasn't what was proposed. 35 miles to the gallon was what was proposed. Nothing that man said was fact. Not one single word. I didn't even have to look it up, but I encourage you guys to look it up. It was 35 miles per hour, not 50.
Troy, would you like to say something?
I meant miles per gallon. I don't know why I keep saying miles per hour.
Great honor. Thank you. My family is a former dealer, 48 years, Chrysler Dodge dealer. And then I got into the political world, sir. I had more fun in the dealership world, but I miss it. But I still play a big role in automobiles and grateful. I remember under President Obama, when the CAFE standards changed, as Mike brought up, and going through those challenging times as a Chrysler dealer before Stellantis came along. It was Daimler before you guys got it. So thank you very much for being here and making these changes. And as you said, that interest on the car loan piece is big. And I know that Bernie led the charge on that in the Senate and get it into one big, beautiful bill. That really is a big deal, and people need to understand how big a deal that is.
You did a great job. And by the way, we had a great victory last night.
I like our race.
He's going to be a great congressman. I think so. Really, like us, right?
Yeah, I like us.
One of my early endorsements, right?
Yes, sir.
Can we talk about it? You're right there is a man. Come here. Let me say hello to you. Please, go ahead.
Thank you, Mr. President,
you.
for your leadership. But the thing I've admired most, you've been in business, you've been in the battles over the years, and you're helping us lead us out. Most people that are up here have no idea about business or small business. It makes a big difference. One is. Number two is, I would just say in terms of the tax stuff we're talking about, one of the things that get missed, and I'm in Florida, Sarasota region, is the ability to deduct. Most people have a small business, they'll have a lawn business, they'll have this, that, they buy a new or used truck. They can take that deduction, let's say they're in a 20% tax bracket, but the vehicle's 60 grand.
They get to
take 20%
smile
of the 60 grand, get a $12,000.
and laugh at
They can
jokes.
pay their payments for the first year. That's a powerful tool we don't talk about. I don't know why. But at the end of the day, because of what you've put in place, full expensing,
Right.
that's the tool that would use. And you could just think about all the people in Florida, just general places. They're buying old vans or new vans, they're buying trucks, mainly trucks, and they're getting a deduction. They don't even have a payment for a year.
That's right.
So it's one of the best things for
One of
Florida.
the biggest
Everybody
things
else-
in the
Yeah,
expensive.
expensing is a powerful tool. They can write the whole asset off the first year, take that deduction, put 12,000 in their pocket on a 20,000. Let me mention one other thing. They got into the e-vehicles, electric cars. And I'm talking to dealers that come in and talk to me. And basically, they couldn't sell one. They couldn't give one away. And when these companies, or they got it because of whatever political.
Oh my God. Again, lie detector test. How many EVs do you see on the road? Tons of them. As with hybrids, tons of them. What do you mean they couldn't sell them?
Pressure under Biden administration, and they end up realizing that they got no market. A guy says the car's been sitting there a year, I can't get rid of it. So they don't understand the market. The people produce the vehicles, and that's made a big difference in your leadership. But thanks for what you're doing here today. It's big, it's huge. It'll make a big difference. $12,000 on a $60,000 vehicle up front day one. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Yeah.
You know, we're just talking about something that's interesting. Ford would make, and I don't want to speak for Ford because we have one of the top people right here.
Mr. President, it's fine if you want to talk about Ford.
Ford would make numerous electric cars in order to sell one Ford 150. Because they'd make all their money with the 150.
Yes.
And they were willing to lose money on building 2 or 3 electric cars that they couldn't sell in order to make some money on the 150, because the 150 is a
And that's
monster. I'll
exactly
tell you
what they're
that-
talking about. It's not all EVs. The EVs that we're having a hard time selling were specifically Elon Musk Teslas. And why was the Tesla having such a hard time selling? Well, before the idiot joined up with you, his cars were selling great, to be honest with you. Once he signed up with you, his cars were found burning all over the place and spray paint all over their sides. People hated them. Has nothing to do with the electric car itself.
No matter where you go, they love that Ford 150.
Yes.
But isn't it a ridiculous model when you have to build 2 or 3 cars that you know you're not going to be selling or not be selling for much in order to really do something that you should have the right to do, which is make a car that you want to make
Yes.
and that the market wants, right? So
Ugly,
congratulations on the
ugly.
150.
Thank you. Best-selling vehicle in the United States.
Just saying.
Now it's
100% built in the United States.
now it's only going to do, no, but it really is, it's amazing. It's an amazing brand.
There was a lot of stupid things done here.
What would you like to say?
Yeah, I thank you, Mr. President and Secretary Duffy and all of us. You know, one of the last times I was here is when you signed the electric vehicle CRA Congressional Review Act that all of us participated
Oh, they're
in.
crappy
The
cars.
beginning of
Man,
really making.
have I really went into detail about the Tesla Cybertruck? The Tesla Cybertruck, it has a problem. If you run it through the car wash, it shuts down. And unfortunately, you have to contact Tesla. Now, it doesn't do it all the time. It could shut down because there's a flaw in the vehicle. And unfortunately, you have to contact Tesla to get it reset. It takes almost an hour to reset it. Now, Tesla, they knew about this. They put it in the owner's manual that if you run the car through the car wash, it could shut down. When people started complaining, hey, my car is a piece of junk, it shuts down when I run it through the car wash. They simply just told them, oh, check your manual. We already told you about that. Now, fortunately, Tesla has decided to give you the option to reset your truck on your own. It still takes an hour to reset. You have to rip out part of the dash. I think it's the side quarter of the dash and reset the vehicle.
Common sense, because it was going to impact 17 other states and really a large part of our economy. This is about affordability here. I'm just going to say one thing. Well, maybe I already said one thing, so now I'm going to say 2 things. When we talk about a car and auto,
It is
we sort of
dangerous
talk
to have all
about
those batteries.
just, oh, we need a car. Do you know what a car does for a family? You can take your children to school. You can go to
I don't
store,
drive
you can
either.
visit your mother. You can go to church. You can have a job. You have the flexibility that you need. A car for an American family is about a roadway to prosperity.
Big deal.
It's a big deal. And so by making them more affordable, making them more choice driven by what families want and need, today is a great day for the American family.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Absolutely, and the American worker.
Say.
Well, thank you, Mr. President and Secretary Duffy, and to my colleagues that are here. In Tennessee,
And you are correct. I've noticed twice the women had to speak up before they were called forward. Both of them said something before he brought them forward. They had to speak up first. All the guys calls them up silently one by one.
we make great automobiles, and we have a fantastic.
And I would agree.
workforce.
Anytime they
And
talk
whether
about
you're GM
affordability,
or
prices go
Ford,
up.
With their new investment in Tennessee, or Nissan or VW or Toyota with the engine plant, what you see is the components that are necessary to build these cars, and removing these to make more cars to meet that demand. And for Tennessee, that is a great thing.
So, I'm just sitting here and I'm thinking, like, we have the biggest auto manufacturers in the world. They're talking about investing billions and they're investing it as we speak, but billions and billions of dollars in our country. Thank you very much. And they're here. They're not like, well, maybe we'll do it. They're doing it because of tariffs, and they're doing it because of maybe they like the president, and we're doing things like this for them, which frankly, no matter who you
Enriching
are,
the
this
rich.
should be done.
That
And we're
is
doing things like
exactly what they're doing.
deductibility of interest. When you borrow money to buy a car, you're allowed to deduct it from your income tax. That is a massive tax cut for people that probably are going to be trying to buy that car anyway. And I really think that interest factor is going to be one of the biggest things. When I was proud of that because I thought of it, and it seems so simple. Other people are allowed big interest. If you're a rich person, you're allowed to have big interest deductions for different things you do. But if you're a middle income person that has to buy a car, you were never entitled to anything. And now you're getting a full interest deduction on the loan. And I think that's going to have one of the biggest impacts. But we're here with companies that are investing tens of billions of dollars in our country as we speak. It's not going to be in 2 years or 3 years. A lot of it's because of the
Full
expensive
interest
provision in
deduction
the
is
bill,
only
the
going to put
beautiful
money
bill.
into the rich man's pocket. It's not going to make
A
your
miracle
car
is
cheaper.
happening in our country. It's a miracle. This is just the auto industry, but we have other industries where it's the same thing. They're building all over our country, and this is a revolution is happening. It's a business revolution. It's a jobs revolution. It's a car revolution. We're bringing back the car industry that was stolen from us because we have people that didn't know what they were doing sitting at this desk. They put the wrong people in because they weren't advised properly. And this is really an incredible thing that's happening. Go ahead, Kevin.
Well, thank you, Mr. President. And I think in many respects, pretty much everything that could be said has been, except that I think what Kevin talks about in terms of the cascading economic opportunity from this one single event is just the tip of the iceberg. When you think of all.
Now, you do realize when he's talking about interest deductions, when he says the word full interest deductions, those are business deductions. Businesses can deduct interest on loans. Now, they've been limited since 2017 to 30% of adjustable income can be deducted. This is strictly a business interest deduction. They're not talking about you buying your car and getting any money back from it.
All the rules and regulations that you have repealed, I think it's more important, frankly, than the tax cuts. However, in the Working Family Tax Cuts Act, remember, we made permanent a lot of really good policy from the first Trump era, not the least of which for small businesses is bonus depreciation, the opportunity to depreciate the year that you purchase an F-150 for your small business or a large truck for your farm. I just think we're going to roll into 2026 and we're going to see an escalation of economic opportunity, the likes of which I probably have never seen.
I think nobody's ever seen it, nobody in the world, because there's never been 18 or whatever it ends up being. In 10 months, we have $18 trillion being invested. We never had $1 trillion being invested. And Biden had much less than that. Think of it. He had less than $1 trillion over 4 years. We have 18 trillion.
Has anybody noticed that this
And it's actually
man...
as of 9 months. So there's never been anything.
So if we go back and we look at presidents of the past, we're not going to look at Biden. We're not going to look at Trump. We'll go back Obama, Clinton, Bush, Carter, Clinton. You know, have you ever heard a president spend most of his presidency bitching about the guy who is no longer president? This is unusual. This is an extremely unusual event. To spend a year of your presidency and I did forget Reagan, thank you, to spend a year of your presidency bitching about your predecessor. Typically, maybe the first month or two, throw in a few jabs at your predecessor, and then move on with your presidency. Your presidency. The other day, I watched a press conference. It was supposed to be a cabinet meeting about his cabinet. If I went through and I clipped the number of times he said Biden, I could probably make an hour video of just him saying Biden in one simple cabinet meeting. An hour. I guarantee you, if I clipped it all up, I could put together an hour of just him repeating the word Biden.
Eric?
Yeah,
what
Mr.
do you have
President,
to say?
thank you. And on behalf of the people of the great state of Missouri, who we actually make things from F-15s to F-47s.
If you ask
now,
me, you
thanks
know
to
how they
we're
say
building the
Trump
F-47
derangement
and then
syndrome?
F-150s.
It
And
sounds
those
to
are
me
real
like
jobs.
he's seriously
And we
suffering
make things
from
in Missouri. This is gonna
BDS,
go a long way, I
Biden
think, for making
derangement
things more
syndrome.
affordable for normal people. Nothing could be more American than driving a car on the highway. And this is going to make that more accessible for more people. So thanks for your leadership.
Your state's doing a great job.
Yeah, well, they love you
It's a
too.
great place. Thank you. Please.
Thank you, Mr. President. I'm going to talk to you just a minute from a rules perspective,
Okay.
because these cafe standards were absolutely unworkable.
Well, if you're
and
referring
rules-
to the big beautiful bill, most economists think that the big beautiful bill is going to raise the debt of the country and lower the revenue. Basically, what that means is we'll have less money in the bank and more bills to pay on a government level.
Missouri, we need vehicles that are practical and affordable and can haul for our small businesses, for agriculture. And it just simply didn't work. Those cafe standards didn't work. So I applaud you and Secretary Duffy for your hard work and what you're doing on behalf of rural America.
Well, it was keeping a lot of manufacturers out of our country too. They said, we're not going to, are you crazy? They thought, outside manufacturers thought we were absolutely insane with all of the different things and just made up nonsense. It was like made up. It was really made up by people that hate our country.
What was funny there? Did anybody, I mean, it almost makes me want to go back and hear the joke.
Two quick things. I think are really
Let's hear
important.
this great
So-
joke.
Person who's
That hate things and manufacturers thought we, they said, we're not going to, are you crazy?
They said, we're not going to do it. Are you
Outside
crazy?
manufacturers thought we were
Outside
absolutely
manufacturers
insane with
are
all of the different
something about
things.
insane.
Just made up nonsense. It was like made up. It was really made up by people that hate our country. I really believe. Does anybody else have anything to say?
I'd say about two quick things, Mr.
Oh, no,
President.
Bernie, I didn't see you.
Two quick things I think are really important. So the person who sat behind this desk before you gave $7,000.
I even went back to listen to the joke.
to
I
multimillionaires
don't
who are
understand why
leasing
anybody in the
electric
room
Rolls-Royces,
laughed.
Electric Porsches, electric Lamborghinis. We're getting $7,500 from the taxpayer. And these Democrats sit on this floor and say that Republicans are for millionaires and billionaires. We are the opposite of giving $7,500 to multi-billionaires, to lease foreign electric vehicles. Number two, because of your policies, at the beginning of the year, 51% of the cars sold in America were made in America.
Let me explain these tariffs real quick. So when a company in China makes a product, now I don't know if I've ever went into great detail about this. When a company in China makes a product and they plan to ship it to the United States of America, do you think that that company in China is being charged a tariff to send the items from China to America? No. Where are the tariffs applied? The tariffs are applied when the products make it to our border. When they hit our border, the tariffs are imposed on the company picking up the products that are imported. Now, the companies here in America who export out under Trump's rule have to pay the tariff going out. There's nobody over in China paying tariffs to pick up that package. And who pays for it? We do. It's exchanged to the price. What man who runs a company is going to cut his bottom line by not including in the price of the item the production cost, also tariffs? You pay for it. You pay for it. I pay for it. We all pay for it. The companies over there in China sending the junk, they're not paying a thing. They're not being hurt. The only person being hurt is the American here in our border that picks the item up.
1% before you got sworn in. Last month, that number was 57%. We moved it 6 points, which nobody thought would be possible in 4 years. We did it in 10 months. That's something that maybe the news should cover a little bit more. And we've driven down the price of automobiles. Car prices for consumers are down before you did.
Super shot. You know, this whole thing is,
Sit
they
down
use
and
the
don't
word
talk.
affordability. It's a Democrat hoax. They're the ones that drove the prices up. And all they do is say affordability. And you're supposed to say, oh, that means they had low prices. No, we inherited the worst inflation in the history of our country. They say 48 years, but let's say that's history. I don't believe that. Biden had, because of his stupid ways and between his energy policies and his spending policies, we had the worst inflation in the history of our country. And now our prices are coming down, and they're coming down for cars, and they're coming down. I mean, did you hear yesterday when Chris Wright from Energy, the head of energy in our country, said there are now parts of our country, it's all happening, $1.99 for gasoline, a gallon. And we have it at $2.50, $2.60.
Oh, is
$5.
Ted Cruz next?
And that's bigger than any tax cut we could give. And, you know, for the average family, that's considered bigger than any tax cut. So the word affordability, when they mention it, you ever watch them? It's all about, I saw the young lady that lost last night. She lost by more than they thought. And we have a great new candidate in Congress, really great, Matt Van Epps. But I saw last night, she said, it's all about affordability, all about it. They never talk about like the specifics. Right. Everything was through the roof. Eggs, when I took over, eggs were 4 times higher than they ever were.
Wrong, little piggy. Wrong, little piggy. Eggs before your presidency, eggs were not expensive. I remember paying about $1.75 a 6-pack or 12-pack for a dozen eggs. $1.75. I will admit, within the last few months, eggs have come down. They're still $1.99, which is still very expensive. $1.97 or whatever, I think, was the last time I bought eggs, which is still kind of expensive. But no, the eggs went up to $3 under your watch, sir. The eggs went up to $3 under your watch. Shut up, little piggy.
They're great con people. It's like the Inflation Reduction Act.
Was I
And after
muted?
They got it approved because everybody said inflation reduction. They admitted it had nothing to do with.
I think I was
reducing
muted. Oh,
inflation.
well.
It's a con job. I think.
I just explained, if I was muted, that eggs before his presidency were $1.75. After his presidency, they jumped up to $3 a dozen. And now they're finally back down to $1.97 a dozen. But that's still very expensive. Now that is Northwest pricing, which I understand a lot of things up here are a little bit more expensive than like if you lived in Florida or something. Really, all of it was fabricated anyway. Do you know why the prices of eggs went up? I can share with you why the prices of eggs went up. They suspected that there may have been a bird flu. And what did they do? They slaughtered a bunch of birds without ever even finding out if there was actually bird flu. Turns out there was no bird flu. So what did we do? We basically shit our egg production, raising the price. This was under your presidency. Did you forget?
affordability is the greatest country. They look at you and they say, affordability. They don't say anything else.
I just
Everyone
thought
says,
maybe I was
"Oh,
muted.
their prices were so low." No, they had the worst inflation. We had the highest prices.
I figured if
ever
I
had.
was, I may as
And now
well.
they're all coming down, including
clarify.
beef is coming down. Beef was up there a little bit. Our ranchers did well, but we're going to make them do a little bit less well, perhaps. But the beef is now coming down. Coffee is now coming down. It's all coming down. And it's a beautiful thing to see. But
I am a coffee nut. I have been for years buying coffee at about $8 because I like to get a little bit better coffee. $8 to $9. If I get Lavazua coffee, it's $12 to $14 depending on where I go per pound. The same stupid Seattle's Worst coffee that I used to buy at like $5.90 something, $5 a pound is now up to $8 a pound. Coffee is not coming down. Holy crap. Is he going to say any freaking word that's true throughout this entire thing?
remember this, when they use the word affordability, they never say anything else. This election's about affordability, and then they go into the next subject.
I think
It's
I'm
a
going to let him
con job.
babble for a little bit while I take a dab. I
caused
almost
the
feel like I'm
highest
listening to a
prices
flat
in the
earther.
history of our country, the worst inflation in the history of our
Wait.
country. And we're getting.
Do you guys know that Donald Trump believes that you were only born with a specific amount of energy? And that if you expend that energy, the more you expend that energy, the less life duration you have? Doesn't that kind of sound a little conspiratorial nonsense? You know, like currency being the energy that we give.
Those prices down, and they're coming down rapidly, and you'll see those results very soon. Anybody else want to say a few words? Oh, Ted, I can't believe it.
Hey, Ted, here, how about this? If I can spend a little while skipping Ted, I will actually happily do that. So we'll find out where he has his brilliant things to say. And
You know, the car companies didn't know what to
I
do
skipped
because there are
Ted.
two standards, and you can't build two different cars for the same country. And what we're doing today is very big. Would anybody like to say something? Would you like to say something, my friend?
I just want to say thank you.
Thank you. And we love you, Brian.
Oh, I love you too, Mr. President.
I've always said he's a good man.
Well, I appreciate that. I've always said you've tackled
my
three.
God, they all got to stuff his
mortgage,
nuts in their mouth.
Munchkins and marriage. You've solidified all of those. I'll add motor vehicles to that now. My question, I got one about consumer confidence. We just came off on the record high Black Friday, up 9.1%.
Highest ever, biggest amount ever purchased in one day. Yeah.
Which I think counts.
Well, these are people that cherish him as a lord, a king. So, yeah, I'm imagining these people find this amazing that they get a few moments next to their king.
This narrative of affordability, because apparently the Americans are spending money. So I want to see, how do you view that for a consumer confidence being so high going into Christmas and going into next year? And I do have one for the auto group after you.
Yeah, I
after
just
that.
think that we have tremendous confidence in the country. You know, one of the things in terms of confidence, if you go back a year and a half, you know, it's amazing. We're like into 10 months already, but you go back a little bit before the election, because after November 5th, it started changing rapidly, even though we weren't running it until January 20th. But when you look back and you look at the enlistment of soldiers, people that wanted to.
Nice. Nice. That one gets
the
a
Army,
nice super
Navy, Air
chat
Force,
too.
Marines. Super shot. Coast Guard, it's like booming. It's all Space Force. But we had the worst recruitment in the history of our country. A year later, we have the greatest recruitment in the history. You can't even get in. Getting in is like getting into a top college that you couldn't get in. People want to be in the service now, and that includes the police and firemen, other things. You couldn't hire police. You couldn't hire anybody in the Army or the Navy. You couldn't get people in. And we now have gone from that to record recruitment. We're getting high quality people, amazing people wanting to be in the military. They have spirit now, call it what you want, but that's part of it. But they have great spirit now. It's a great thing. Go ahead, ask your second question.
Okay, my second question, I've got a lot of close family friends that are in the automotive business, own dealerships all across Southern California. They sent me a question to ask you. There's a thing called a mileage blocker that is installed on vehicles. It's a type of a computer chip which alters the actual mileage driven on the vehicle, so that when you have a leased vehicle that's turned in, they're losing thousands of dollars. They've got to go chase down these manufacturers.
No, I think he was suggesting that in the past our military has just been kind of a shabby ragtag band of losers, and that now that he's president, only the real men join. That's kind of what I think he's going with there.
We do to track down these manufacturers of this illegal.
Hey, you know who didn't do
That's
the
really
hey,
hurting
you know
our-
who didn't do the military thing? Huh, there, Mr. Splint? Mr. Bone Spurs? Bone Spurs? Do you know who didn't do the military thing? Do you know who required 3 deferments from his rich father? Do you know who? Guess who, Donald Trump? Guess who? Guess who never went into the military and instead got 3 draft deferments? 3 deferments. Bone Spurs.
Have you heard about this?
Yes, sir. They're getting built in China, and most of them are coming out of Great Britain, sir. They're being distributed through China, through distributors selling them online through Great Britain. Yes, sir.
Wow, that's not so good. What do you think?
Look at that.
Bernie, do you know anything about that?
It works on older vehicles, and obviously, well, we got to do a better job. of
Yeah,
making
I
sure
think
patrol is
it's
aboard.
something, I've never heard of it. Very good. We never heard of it. That's pretty good.
Mr. President, you released video of that first boat strike on September 2nd, but not the second video. Will you release video of that strike so that the American people can see for themselves?
I didn't
don't know
even
what
see
they have, but
Shifty
whatever
Eyes
they have, we
Shady
certainly release, no problem. We stopped
comment.
every
Oh,
boat we knocked
look
out.
in here.
we
Hello,
saved
Shifty Eyes
25,000
Shady.
American lives.
That's
right.
And if you look at our numbers, the drugs coming in through sea are down 91%. I'm surprised there's 9%. You want to? I don't know who's doing the 9%, but it's down 91, and we're going to start very soon on land, and I'm sure you're thrilled to hear that.
Mr. President,
on Ukraine.
Now let me give you a warning of what that means. Start on land. Start on land means engagement in a sovereign nation's land, on their land. This is clearly against rules of engagement. We cannot police another country's land, another sovereign country.
Last night, Vladimir
Especially one that is a partner in the UN or NATO.
Can you give us an update about those talks? It sounds from what the Kremlin is saying that they're not going to compromise. Can you tell us what you've?
I don't know what the Kremlin's doing. I can tell you that they had a reasonably good meeting with President Putin. We're going to find out.
Yeah, rules of
It's a war
engagement,
that
they
should
threw
have
them out the
never
window
been
a while
started. It's a
ago.
war. If I were president, we had a rigged election. If I were president, that war would have never happened. It's a terrible thing. But I thought they had a very good meeting yesterday with President Putin. We'll see what happens. It's, when I was in this office and I talked about no cards.
I agree
Yeah,
with
no
him.
cards.
If he was president, that war would have never happened because he would have gave everything to Putin. I mean, what's wrong with America today? When did we lose the idea of the small countries are the ones that we stand up for? not so much to large countries. When did we, and this is quite literally, if we look at the engagements between Ukraine and Russia and Gaza and Israel, we are quite literally taking little bitty strips of land and ignoring them while favoring the ginormous pieces of land.
Cards, that was the time to settle. I thought that would have been a much better time to settle. But they, in their wisdom, decided not to do that. They have a lot of things against them right now. But you have President Putin had a very good meeting yesterday with Kushner and with Steve Witkoff. What comes out of that meeting, I can't tell you, because it does take two to tango. You know, Ukraine, I think we have something pretty well worked out with them.
Oh, yeah,
Satisfied,
yeah.
considering. But the sad part is, if
I'm not saying that we're all innocent on that.
our president, no war would have ever happened. They would have had 100% of their territory. Nothing would have happened.
But for the most part, we've primarily supported smaller countries.
It's a very sad situation. So think of this. Last month, 27,000 soldiers. 27. That's like you take a stadium, a football stadium, not an arena, and you cut it in half. 27,000 people died, young, mostly young soldiers, died last month, in 1 month. And that's the only reason I'm involved. You know, we're not spending any money on the war. We're selling to NATO. We're not being ripped off like we were under Biden. Biden was handing everybody everything we had, giving them all the missiles, everything they wanted, free, no charge. Or just, he had no idea what he was doing. They're paying top dollar, full price for everything. Goes to NATO, and then NATO distributes it. NATO pays us. So we're not, it's not money. We would all, I think I can speak for everyone behind here. The politicians I know and the auto manufacturers are good people. They don't want to see 27,000 people die for no reason whatsoever. And that's the only reason I'm trying to help. Yeah, please.
Mr. President, switching to Venezuela for a second. Have you checked back with President Maduro? I mean, is your pressure campaign working? And do you think, how's he responded to your demand that he leave the country?
It's not pressure campaign. It's much beyond that, I think. But I spoke to him briefly, just told him a couple of things. We'll see what happens with that. Venezuela sends us drugs, but Venezuela sends us people that they shouldn't be sending. They emptied their prisons into our country. They sent us killers, murderers. They sent us drug dealers at the highest level. They sent us gang members. They sent us people from their mental institutions. They emptied their mental institutions into our country. And so did other countries, because we had stupid people.
By the way, hello,
running
KDP.
this country. Really stupid people. And I think probably you had some stupid ones, and you had some smart.
Now, on the Iran thing, you know, Obama also majorly supported Kuwait, which back in Bush's presidency, I think it was attacked by Iran. I believe that he supported Kuwait more than Iran as far as monetarily. I'm not 100% sure, but I know he did have a massive support in Kuwait and emphasized a role of the U.S. as a key ally in the Gulf region.
Ones, but they were bad people too. Because nobody.
Oh, surrender monkey.
You can't cheat on elections like they did and be stupid. Okay.
Did you talk to him a second time or just that one time?
What's that?
To Maduro, did you speak to him again?
No, I didn't.
Mr. President, if you do find. When you spoke with Mr. Witkoff and with Mr. Kushner.
Last night,
did they give you the sense that President Putin still wants to end the war, still wants to make peace?
He would like to end the war. That's what that was their impression. Now, whether or not, that was their impression. You know, their impression was that he would like to see the war ended. I think he'd like to get back to dealing a more normal life. I think he'd like to be trading with the United States of America, frankly, instead of, losing thousands of soldiers a week. But their impression was very strongly that they'd like to make a deal. We'll see what happens.
Mr. President, the boat strikes, if it is found that survivors were actually killed while clinging on to that boat, should Secretary Hegseth, Admiral Bradley, or others be punished?
I think you're going to find that this is war, that these people were killing our people by the millions, actually, if you look over a few years. I think last year we lost close to 300,000 people were killed. That's not mentioning all the families. Have you seen what happens with the families?
That wasn't question. The question was, if it's deemed that they were illegal bombings of the boats, do you think that he should be held accountable? And your answer is, we're in war, so we can do illegal stuff. And when? Since when have we been in war with Venezuela?
Not only the people killed, the people that are trying to get their son or their daughter off of this poison that they've been fed. I think you're going to find that there's a very receptive ear to doing exactly what they're doing, taking out those boats. And very soon we're going to start doing it on land too, because we know every route, we know every house, we know where they manufacture this crap, we know where they put it all together. And I think you're going to see it very soon on land also. Yeah, please.
Oh yeah, yeah. That I guess I should mention. Some of those boat bombings were in their waterways, not in international waters.
Survivors after the.
No, I support the decision to knock out the.
And he's now
boats,
suggesting
piloting
targets
those
on
boats,
land
most
on
of
their
them are
soil.
gone. But whoever are piloting those boats, they're guilty of trying to kill people in our country. Yeah, please.
The House Judiciary Committee has subpoenaed Jack Smith to ask about his investigation of you. I wondered, for a deposition, I wondered if you'd prefer to see that as a hearing so that the American public can see the questions and the responses more easily.
I'd rather see it probably at a hearing. Look, Jack Smith is a thug. He's a failed prosecutor. He's a bad man. He's an evil man. He hurt a lot of people. Forget about me. You know, I do this stuff, but I got indicted many times by a guy that they were dismissed. He's a bad guy. He's a sick man. There's
I'm
something
looking
wrong with
for a
him.
video of
I think
that
Jack Smith
moment.
is a sick man. There's something really wrong with him. I'd rather see him testify publicly because there's no way he can answer the questions. But Biden knew this was going along. Kamala knew it was going along. And there's a lot of things happening right now that they don't like. One of the things is the auto pen. Everything he signed, almost, with the exception of the part.
Be right back. I
his
have to
wonderful
grab
son,
my
Hunter.
tablet.
Just about everything he signed was not signed by him.
And
He had
yes,
no knowledge
yes,
of
that's
it.
another
He didn't know what
issue.
it-
He just pardoned, you're correct. He just pardoned a guy that sent like 400 tons of cocaine into the U.S. A man who was accused of murdering people, including chopping somebody up with a machete. And unfortunately, when Trump was asked about why he pardoned the guy, he didn't even know who he was. He didn't know who he was. How do you pardon somebody if you don't know who he is? And he goes, "Oh, I heard it was a witch hunt from Biden." So you just assume because you heard it was a witch hunt from Biden that you just go ahead and release this person into the world without even looking into the facts of what the man did. However, in the same breath, moments later, Donald Trump complained that Biden didn't know what he was doing. Yet you, at least 4 times before that, before you said that, said you didn't know, you didn't know, you didn't know, you didn't know, have no clue, you didn't know.
was. People sitting around the beautiful Resolute desk knew exactly.
I'm trying to
what it
find a
was. And
video. I
those
think it's
people,
over on my tablet
are
and not
guilty,
on
in
my
my opinion,
computer.
of a
So
major
I will
crime.
grab my tablet
Everything
real
that
quick.
was signed by that auto pen, the man
You've signed
operating the
bills
auto pen, I'm sure
and
there are more than
you've signed with AutoPen as yourself. As a matter of fact, that little letter that went to Epstein, it looked like a woman's body. I guess your argument was that it was AutoPen.
one, because I think some of the people can operate it themselves. Some of the high-level people operate it themselves. They would just go in and sign his name with an auto pen onto very important documents, not only pardons, but policy, maybe cafe standards, okay, as an example. Who signed cafe? If you ask Biden, what's a cafe standard? He would have absolutely no idea. He'd say, where is the cafe located? The guy didn't know anything. Look, that just shows you what a rigged election can be, but you understand what I'm saying. Thank you.
You've had conversations.
I did, with Jensen.
Right, so.
Smart man.
In your
There we go, I got my
conversations with him,
tablet.
have you kind of given a sense of where you are with export controls and the types
Sure.
of
No,
chips
he
that
knows
they're being able
more.
to give to China?
He knows very well. He's done an amazing job. NVIDIA, very good. Yeah.
Mr. President, when do you expect for phase 2 of the Gaza peace plan to be implemented? And do
Well,
you
it's
think-
going along well. You know, they had a problem today, I understand, with a bomb that went off. Hurt some people pretty badly, probably killed some people. They're telling me it just happened. But it's going on very, we have peace in the Middle East. People don't realize it. We have tremendous support, 59 countries. There's tremendous support. But phase 2 is moving along. Yeah, it's going to happen pretty soon.
Mr. President, did you speak with House Republican leadership about your decision to pardon Congressman Henry Cuellar? And are you concerned that you made a vulnerable Democrat perhaps less vulnerable with that decision?
It didn't matter. He's a respected person. He was treated very badly because he said that people should not be allowed to pour into our country. And he was right. He didn't like open borders. He was on the border. You know, he represents a very respected man. He represents the people on the border, and he saw what was happening. And as soon as he made that statement, I then said, I'll bet he gets indicted. And that's what happened. You know, I put out my truth from that. Well, I did a truth, wonderful truth. We love truth. But what happened is he got indicted for speaking the truth. And his wife got indicted, Imelda. And that's sort of a first. Usually they leave the wives alone, right? Don't they, Congressman? Typically they indict somebody, put him in jail for the rest of his life, but the wife can just sit home and cry, or she'll find a new man. You know? A lot of times they find a new man, it makes them much happier. In fact, a lot of times they like that man better than the one that's in jail. Go
Mr.
ahead.
President, thank you. The mayor of Minneapolis, Jacob Frey, is saying that he's actually proud to have the largest Somali community in the country, and his police chief
Well, then he's a fool.
well, his police chief is
I
also
wouldn't
saying
be
they might.
proud to have the largest Somalian. Look at their nation. Look how bad their nation is. It's not even a nation. It's just a.
He's really
walking around
boring
killing
me
each other.
at
Look,
this point.
These Somalians have taken billions of dollars out of our country. They've taken billions and billions of dollars. They have a representative, Ilhan Omar, who they say married her brother. That's a fraud. She tries to deny it now, but you can't really deny it because, you know, it just happened. She shouldn't be allowed to be a congresswoman, and I'm sure people are looking at that. And she should be thrown the hell out of our country. And most of those people, they have destroyed Minnesota, okay? Minnesota, you have an incompetent governor. You have a
I'm
crooked
working
governor, he's
on
crooked
pulling
himself.
this down.
He's
If you guys
incompetent.
want to watch the rest
Waltz is-
of the
He should be ashamed.
video,
That beautiful land,
where
that
is
beautiful
it?
state. It's a hellhole right now. And the Somalians should be out of here. They've destroyed our country. And all they do is complain, complain, complain. You have her. She's always talking about the Constitution.
This is a link
provides me
to
with-
this exact video that we're watching right
Go back to
now.
your own country and figure
I'm
out
going
your
to pull up a
Constitution.
couple other
All she
videos
does
here in a
is complain
second.
about
I'm
this
just going to go
country
ahead and
without this
end it
country.
right about here. I got a couple of funnies to pull up, hopefully. Sure, wait, let's. Share this one. Share screen. So let's look into a little bit of truths about Gaza.
The conflict between Israel and Palestine began on
the 7th of October.
The conflict between Israel and Palestine began many, many years ago. This context
is an irrelevant justification for evil.
This context is vital in the pursuit of objective understanding.
The IDF are the most moral army in the world.
Moral people do not systematically attempt to convince people of their own morality.
People are innately objective.
People are innately subjective, hypocritical, emotional, aggressive, tribal, biased, fallible, fearful.
Fear justifies any course of action.
Fear justifies any course of action.
Hurt people invariably have empathy for hurt people.
Hurt people. Hurt people.
An effective way to express condemnation for the act of killing innocent people is to kill innocent people.
An effective way to express hypocrisy for the act of killing innocent people is to kill innocent people. Disproportionately.
Hamas committed horrific atrocities on the 7th of October.
Israel committed horrific atrocities on the 8th, 9th, 10th, 11th, 12th, 13th, 14th, 15th, 16th, 17th, 18th.
Justice is dealt in the fog of war.
Sadism descends in a redness.
Violence is essential to reduce violence.
Violence is essential to perpetuate violence.
The IDF takes every precaution to minimize civilian casualties. The IDF
states that it
takes every precaution to minimize civilian casualties. We know our slogan. There are no uninvolved civilians. Israel wants Palestinians to leave their home and go to safe zones.
Safe zones do not exist. Israel wants Palestinians to leave their home.
Atrocities are committed by people with headbands and AK-47s.
Atrocities are committed by people with business suits and F-16 fighter jets.
Atrocities cannot be committed in response to an atrocity.
Atrocities are often committed in direct response to atrocities.
People are seldom the perpetrators, but are always the victims.
People often fail to recognize the gravity of their own actions, only truly grasping the impact when similar acts are perpetrated against them. This discrepancy stems from a bias or a deficiency in empathy, revealing a disconnect between one's actions and their consequence.
Collateral damage.
Human beings. Kidnapping hostages is immoral. Kidnapped hostages should all be returned. Stealing is wrong. People don't like having things taken from them, or having water and fuel controlled, or illegal settlements, or checkpoints, blockades, military occupation, home demolitions, economic restrictions, restrictions of movement, limited services, annexations, detentions, border controls, displacement, collective punishment, racism, subjugation, being treated as subhuman. Unfairness breeds frustration. Justifying the placement of someone in a cage by showing their anger once placed within it is irrational. Justifying putting them in a harsher cage by witnessing an increase in anger is vindictive.
The IDF bear no responsibility for the loss of life in Gaza. The culpability lies entirely with Hamas's strategy of employing human shields.
The bombs being used are ordered by the Israeli government, are loaded onto Israeli planes by Israeli soldiers, and fired by Israeli pilots, in line with Israeli strategy. Violent, abusive husbands often blame their wives for their actions, as a transparent and contemptible means to negate moral responsibility.
Hamas are dropping bombs on Gaza.
Israel are dropping bombs on Gaza.
Hamas have killed 17,000 Palestinians.
Israel have killed 18,000, 19,000, 20,000, 21,000, 22,000, 23,000, 24,000, 25,000, 26,000, 27,000.
Israel is allowed to defend itself.
Palestine is allowed to defend itself.
Israel's actions are the only way it can defend itself.
Strongly held sincere beliefs can be wrong.
Israel's invasion of Gaza is reducing anti-Israeli sentiment.
Israel's invasion of Gaza is inflaming anti-Israeli sentiment.
Israel's invasion of Gaza is making Israel
less safe. Hamas's actions are making Gaza less safe. Being killed in a kibbutz is horrific. Being killed in a UN refugee camp is horrific.
Hamas have committed war crimes.
Israel have committed war crimes.
It is morally reprehensible to compare the actions of the IDF to Hamas.
It is morally reprehensible to continually assign lesser value to the lives and anguish of Palestinians.
All lives are valued equally.
All lives are valuable and equal. Consistently throughout history, people with darker skin have been perceived to have less value than those with lighter skin. Displaying double standards is a frequent tendency of humans. Hamas are terrorists. If Hamas killed with F-16 fighter jets and US support, they would still be terrorists.
Ethnic cleansing. The mass expulsion or killing of members of one ethnic or religious group in an area by those of another.
Israel have coordinated a humanitarian safe zone.
Israel have coordinated a mass expulsion.
Israel are defending people.
Israel are killing people. Palestinians are members of an ethnic or religious group. Gaza is an area. Israel is another area.
No one knows where to go at this point.
Genocide. The deliberate killing of a large number of people from a particular nation or ethnic group with the aim of destroying that nation or group.
Israel is not engaging in genocide because they possess the capability to kill everyone but choose not to.
Genocides do not need for everybody to be killed.
Hamas would like to commit genocide. Hamas are perpetually firing rockets at Israel.
Feeling perpetually under threat must be emotionally exhausting and terrifying. They should stop.
If you are critical of Israel, you are anti-Semitic, you love Hamas, you love Hitler, you hate God.
If you are critical of Israel, you hate indiscriminate killing, counterproductive destruction, self-defeating violence, and callousness.
The United Nations treats Israel unfairly.
The United Nations treats Israel fairly and is our best mechanism for objectivity. Truths can sometimes be seen as unfair. Anti-Semites should be vociferously challenged and corrected. Islamophobes should be vociferously challenged and corrected.
All Jewish people agree with Israel. All Muslims agree with Hamas. Jewish people are the IDF. Palestinians are Hamas. One day, objectivity and empathy
will outshine our endemic tribal instincts.
One day.
Portrait of a Bush League Fuhrer named Peter Wallner, a sparse little man who feeds off his self-delusions and finds himself perpetually hungry for want of greatness in his diet. And like some goose-stepping predecessors, he searches for something to explain his hunger and to rationalize why a world passes him by without saluting. In his own twisted and distorted lexicon, he calls it faith, strength, truth.
How do you move a mob, Mr. Fuller? How do you excite them? How do you make them feel as one with you?
I don't know how.
Join them first, Mr. Fuller.
Join them?
Yes. When you speak to them as if you were a member of the mob.
Like to punch him in the face, I'll tell you.
Speak to them in their language, on their level.
The ridiculous bullshit. Drain the swamp.
Make their hate your hate. If they are poor, talk to them of poverty.
We are going to put our coal miners back to work.
If they are afraid, talk to them of their fears.
180,000 illegal immigrants are tonight roaming free to threaten peaceful citizens.
And if they are angry, Mr. Fuller, if they are angry, give them objects for their anger.
Get that son of a bitch off the field right now. Out. He's fired. He's fired.
He has a particular venom for blacks and people of color.
But most of all, the thing that is most of the essence, Mr. Vollmer, is that you make this mob an extension of yourself.
Nobody's done what we have done in 2.5 years. They are the fake, disgusting news.
You know, CNN, fake news, MSNBC, you know, that's really the enemy of the people.
Say to them things like, they call us hate mongers. They say we're prejudiced. They say we're biased. They say we hate minorities. Understand the term, neighbors. Minorities. Should I tell you who are the minorities? Should I tell you? We are the minorities. Because patriotism is the minority. Because love of country is the minority. Because to live in free white America seems to be of a minority opinion. If it's a minority opinion that we have to survive, then we are the minority. And this minority will not stop until it is the majority.
There's a silent majority out there. We're tired of being pushed around, kicked around, and acting and being led by stupid people.
You want your homes infected with the vermin,
rats, and rodent infested
from foreign shores. Oh!
I've heard it before. I've heard it 1,000 times before. It was drivel then, and it is drivel now.
America was built by and for the white Christian people of this nation.
Well, just so you understand, I don't know anything about David Duke, okay? I don't know anything about what you've been talking about with white supremacy or white supremacists. So I don't know.
So there we are. There it is. There is a conspiracy. There's an insidious, enveloping conspiracy. A conspiracy personified by the yellow man.
He's a Mexican. This judge is giving us unfair rulings.
He's not from Mexico.
In my opinion,
he's from Indiana.
By the black man. And by foreigners who come in and infiltrate into our economic structure.
I was pretty confident about where I was born.
Oh, there'll come a morning. Yes, there will. There will come a morning when these men have taken over your home. They've taken over your daughters.
The rats reproduce at such a ferocious rate.
Build that wall. Build that wall. Build that wall.
we have to make America great again.
It's not hate. It's a point of
Yeah,
view.
Mein
It's a
Kampf is right by his bed.
Donald J. Trump is calling for a total and complete shutdown of Muslims entering the United States.
And what is this one here? The new model? A 1963 Führer right off the assembly line? This one is nothing but a cheap copy. Well, let me tell you about this one. About the breed, the species. They're all alike. They're all alike. Problem children. Sick, sad, neurotic, who take applause like a needle.
But these left-wing ideologues, they want to demolish our Constitution, weaken our military, eliminate the values that built this magnificent country.
That's the boy again speaking. The little boy with so much fear in him.
The communists did this. Which ones? All of them were communists.
This is the agenda of white nationalists. Whether it is happening in chat rooms or it's happening on national TV, and now it's reached the White House garden.
Remember that when he comes to your town. Remember it when you hear his voice speaking out through others. Remember it when you hear a name called, a minority attacked, any blind, unreasoning assault on a people or any human being. He's alive because through these things, we keep him alive.
dreams when I sleep. A penguin that can fly. A penguin that can fly. A penguin that can fly. That's where you will find me up there with the birds that have wings. Up there I can see things not seen by ground things. Up there in the sky, there's a penguin flying high. Always loving life, wondering how the ground things ever survive. Never seeing life. Down below me, the ground things scurry by. Out among the birds, flying wild and free. See things that no one else can see. High above, away from the debris. Down below, the brown things scurry by, pounding their feet while I touch the sky. Sliding, gliding, without a care. They'll never know the wonders up here. In the sky, I'm a penguin flying high. Living life with love, no questions why. I wonder how the ground things carry on. Never experiencing the beauty I draw.
Penguins.
As always, you guys are awesome. Remember, you don't have to be wise. Just don't submit to stupid. Have a great day.